Welcome to the Symbol Series, everybody. Episode 9?
10, 15, 76.
Episode We're
Hot,
Tired.
hot. So
Today-
we're talking about a non-jet symbol.
Woo!
It's like
The marathon is over!
dude. It's like the Star Wars sequel series. It's like UFS: The Life Awakens. Does that work? It doesn't work, right?
The Life Menace?
The Life Menace? No, that's prequel, dude. We're talking about sequel series.
No, we're talking about Dayquil.
Talking about
Dayquil.
Dayquil.
Menace.
Yeah, whatever. Who?
The Life
So we're
Awakens.
gonna talk about the life symbol. My overall
Second slash
second
tied for first.
symbol with the death symbol.
Eric,
Yeah.
the void too often symbol.
Yeah, well,
Not anymore
Not
so
anymore.
much.
like as of lately, life has kind of like an identity crisis.
But
Yeah.
we'll get
Because
to that.
it used to be really good, and then we have this.
So, long ago, I spoke to Mr. Shane Duckworth back when he still worked for Janska. And I got all sorts of information about these symbols.
Unlike the Tyler's thing.
So now, we will speak about the life, and by we, I mean myself. So what does life do? It gains vitality. It ignores progressive. And apparently, it switches speed and damage.
I don't do any of that.
And doesn't
And neither
well,
does that.
like the only thing it can really be, it doesn't switch speed and damage, but it really does. It switches numbers a lot.
Because the only card that does do that is Curious Magnetism.
Yeah, no, I'm
and
talking like
Purification.
Dust in the Wind kind of changes the number of the speed.
Yeah, but it says
Maybe that's what it means, that it switches speed and damage by it changes like the actual numerical value, not speed and damage. Like it has like
Yeah.
this speed number is now this speed number because
Right.
it's able to. It's able
Except
to do
Solomon's
that.
teachings, which does precisely that.
It doesn't have that symbol. I know, but anywho, but I say we concentrate more on the first two because
Because
more,
what it actually
That's
has.
actually what it has. Is life gain. I think that life gain in this game is very hard to design properly because you don't want to
Absolutely.
over give people life because
Gil.
then they're never gonna die.
Gil.
Dimitri 1 dot, Dimitri 2,
Gil.
Ivy. I know Gil, yeah, whatever. Or you don't want to make it too weak to where it's like, well,
To where it doesn't matter.
Where it doesn't matter.
2 dot.
Yeah, Gabbard doesn't matter. But yeah, like you don't want to have like, well, on this one card I gained 6 vitality. You know, like
Right.
you know, because that's like 2 or 3 attacks sometimes, just because of through damage reduction.
A pretty
blocking,
good
and stuff like
case
that.
of decent life gain is Kodokan.
Yeah.
His support can get out of hand if you're not careful, but for the most part, it was pretty good.
He has like one card that life gains, right?
He has 2. Saw Blade Strike gains you 1,
One.
and God Ray gains you at one
And
time.
his
use of 3.
foundation gives you 2 if you pay more
Well,
than
you
2
have
the
to count
cost.
yourself.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of neat. And then like Ivy is like the new life gain character.
She's the new hotness.
She's I don't want to say she's hot. she's not very. I don't know. We haven't tested her yet, but she gains life based on keywords. Same kind of like Gil in a way,
Yeah.
but she's a little more. I don't know, tankier, I guess, because she has like 30 health.
She has
I guess.
6-hand 30 health character
Yeah.
instead of a 5-hand 27.
But Gil really isn't a 5 hand. He's 5 hand size in the first turn of the game. That's it. But yeah, because like you have negative stolen, that also gains you life. Kersplat gains you life.
And you guys lets you ignore progressive.
Yeah, which is the other part too. Is like I can only think of a handful of cards right now that really don't like all the Gil's crap. If your
Yeah.
opponent's in deadlock, ignores progressive.
Is there any card in the game that ignores progressive that doesn't have life? But I don't mean ones that don't count towards
Yeah,
progressive.
no, I don't think so right now.
Because we
I can't
have-
think of it.
So we have all of Jets. Too much!
Yeah, too much
all
Jet.
Gil stuff.
All Gil
attacks
stuff,
are all
yeah.
based on that. We
Yep.
have Kersplat that does it
Yep.
for the next card.
Yep.
We have
Like
Not over
a
yet.
prophetic.
that's the one.
What?
Not over yet.
Not over yet.
Oh, not over yet.
Like, that's a great
Summer vacation kind of doesn't. It's kind of one of those things that doesn't
Yeah.
count. One of those things.
Rest in peace, Scorch Wheel, the original.
Oh yeah,
Another good example
yeah,
of
true.
What's that?
Prophetic fulfillment, one of the Gil foundations, is that card doesn't. A lot of it. I would probably amend that to say ignores / doesn't count because if you think about it, a lot of that ignoring / doesn't count doesn't count towards progressive.
Right. What's that? It's like Quan Chi attack.
Oh, Demon Grab.
Demon Grab.
Yeah, that does the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is oddly part of a really, really wonky infinite that's actually okay because it takes you like an off-symbol card and an off-symbol character and a really, really weird gimmick. It's actually okay.
So it's not infinite Ava and turn 2 nonsense?
No, it's like infinite.
Like
it's like infinite Quan Chi damage. Remove.
It's not losing to printed pieces of paper because the cards aren't out yet.
Correct. Correct. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's kind of funny. Maybe I'll bring it sometime. But anywho, I would say definitely. It used to be really good.
Yeah,
Like, the symbol used to be the symbol.
Yeah.
It didn't really win a whole lot, but it was always
But it
prevalent.
didn't die.
It didn't die. It was very like I think it was mostly on the back of like Dimitri to pull out of the legacy format, my one dot.
And to
Yeah,
talk about
it-
some
it-
more recent stuff, it
Yeah.
had things like Heidi support. It had a lot of super good attacks. It wasn't often played on Life. It was
No.
often played on Fire
Fire,
because that was
yeah.
just stronger at the time.
Yeah.
But Life had a lot of the super good things, like Tengu Dive's another one.
Yeah.
It's got all these super cool pieces that were super aggro in Tim Keefe's Pharaoh Man.
Pharaoh Man, but he didn't play Tango. He played
Well, of
Stern
course
Wall.
not. That was Scott Sunman, I think, was playing it with this ridiculous.
I don't
No,
remember.
Desjardins. Scott Desjardins.
Yeah,
was playing
I don't remember.
it. Cake my butt round one of World.
So,
Oh. But yeah.
what is the last life that
Has-
won anything? Is it Tim with
With-
Spike?
Tim with Spike, yes. But that was more based off of
The
Spike.
fact that Bebop was
yeah.
was the fresh hotness and
Yeah.
everything else was garbage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
9 unblockable damage is hard to deal with.
and
Yeah.
then oh well, it is the symbol that can play hand cannon and not feel bad about it.
It's true.
Because
Yeah,
it
it's
can play
an
puppet
actual
cannon.
attack.
It actually has puppet cannon, which is one of the best defensive pieces currently right now. Which, if you have two of those out and a hand cannon, you wreck the Sub-Zero Infinite.
Or you can also add negative stolen.
Yeah, or you can. Well, that doesn't stop the Infinite, but
I'm not talking about
Yeah.
Stuff the Infinite, but
Yeah,
it's
I know.
another good card. It's
Yeah.
cool that they have.
yeah, you can add that in. Yes, you can do some really neat, and interesting interactions, but for the most part, it really lacks a kill. Like it can
Yeah.
get your opponent down. Maybe Soul Calibur gives it to us. Guilty Throne is kind of cool, but
Talking about our last single series
Yeah.
about good, I mentioned that it has a lot of attacks that are high costed for what it does. Cannonade is one that has been turned into that because everything's gotten so much stronger, especially off.
yeah, it's a really weak attack now. You're right.
It's an attack that's super cool and it kind of memey in some decks like Satoshi, especially with things like direct hit. But it just no longer has a place in the format
Yeah.
the way it used to obliterate things. And
Yep.
when it
Very
came
true.
out.
And it's primarily a throw. Like,
Also,
it's,
sure you wrap up.
it's kind of like a throw symbol. Like
Yeah.
not to take away from Earth, but it has a very, very good option of throws.
It's also shares a lot of the earth with those throws.
Yeah, and then you get like some really neat Morgan support that gives you some throws, and it's just I don't know if it's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be like this grindy, manly. Hey, look
Yeah.
at me! I'm just gonna grind you into the ground type thing.
Right.
But there really isn't a character to support that.
Now, with the advent of Dimitri becoming Dimitri 2, it lost the tool it had that was powerful.
Which was like able to put in something like to add extra damage or to flip your opponent's best pieces or stuff like that.
But of course,
Yeah.
it still has spiders and dragons, so it's one of the best we've seen in the game.
I don't know, I wouldn't say that. It's not even top 5. But yeah, so what? I'm gonna go first.
Let's do.
A
What you got?
card I think that personifies life. Templar. It gains you life. That's all. And all it pretty much does. And it draws you 2 cards, which is an all thing, but it used to be the most hot card ever. And now that thing is barely
And
ever
then they
played.
misprinted the breaker right off of it.
So if we think of life as staying alive, that would probably be the quintessential
Yeah.
card because it has a really good block modifier
Yep.
on it. It
Yep.
gains you life, and you can pair it with like this weird kind of vitality gain plus damage reduction
Yeah.
in
Like
stuff.
It becomes like a grinder deck.
Yeah.
And those decks are just too slow for the format right now.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
So
a
you
good
just can't.
portion of what's
you
going on.
You
Yeah,
just can't do it.
Since the days of of Jiffney Jamber, the life all life decks are really just like kind of grind out, kind of wear your
Wear you
opponent down mentally.
Yep.
It's more of a mental game.
Yeah, but it's
than
still.
the actual physical.
But the issue is now the way the design is, it's just too slow.
Yeah.
It's
I
very.
think a
and
big
that's-
portion of that problem is the fact that a lot of the attacks are very pigeonholy. So Cannonade, you have to play 4 if you're playing it at all, and it's often really only good with characters. Tengu requires high difficulty and it has to be comboed off of a range.
Yeah.
And I
Well, it's
like,
a 1 check too, so yeah.
and, like in Skull is not really all that good outside of Ermac.
Or Quan Chi.
Quan Chi, it's awful now.
No, Quan Chi's actually pretty good. It's just you have to build them.
I don't know. Marco hasn't done it yet, so I don't know.
Well, yeah. But anywho, I think that's like the big issue with it is that it just doesn't have like that one card. It doesn't have like a missile launcher.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It
Not
doesn't.
a lot of things happen this way.
Well, yeah, it doesn't have an. It doesn't look at Guilty Throne. It's a
Yeah.
7 diff. Why does it need to be a 7 diff? Oh, great, you draw 3 cards if you the all symbol.
That's
So,
what.
yeah.
See, that's another design philosophy question because it's a 7 diff because the character that it's built around can give plus to its check, but you need to make
Can
those.
she? It's an Ivy card. It's not a. It's not a Yoshimitsu card.
She can.
She
check
can
the-
stack. She can stack it. Yeah, but you're still looking. You're still looking at on an 8 if you're playing it second, or you're going.
Stack a 6, commit 2. Like, oh, good, that's great.
Yeah, or you just
Yeah.
or you blindly check a 5 on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of this falls into the cards have to be playable in everybody, and I think that's where a lot of symbols shine on is the fact that they've been given cards that are so generically good across the board that you don't have to like find these things that our symbols are supposed to be doing
Yeah.
to make it work. You only just have to play cards and win.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the whole point of the card game, though, is to play.
Yeah.
Is the way the game works now is you play the best cards in your deck.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter what your character kind of does. It's just okay, cool. I'm playing this symbol.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna add all this stuff in, and I just hope to play this guy that he somewhat modifies my stuff in my deck, and I can dodge diversity or win my diversity battle, and I'm good there.
And I think life is more of like a galaxy brain symbol because as an aggro player, not to keep bringing up the legacy thing, but if you handed me like a grindy life deck that somebody is just like this deck wins,
Yeah.
85% of the time I'm just sitting there going, I don't know what this crap does.
It's all to be frank about it. Not Shirley, but Frank. It's pretty much it's considered the lame symbol
Yep.
because it's like you play a throw, you build 3. You play a throw, you build 4. You may play 2 throws.
You
Oh,
negative.
spice it up.
Yeah.
You negative,
You negative stolen,
build,
you build,
surveyor,
yeah, you
pick the
pick
negative
it,
stolen
exactly.
deck, and then
Like
you
that's
just keep
what a
playing
lot
this
of
game.
life decks were for a long time, and
Yeah.
that's part
And
of the
that's-
deadlock
and
issue
that's really-
because no
and
one
that's-
wanted to face an entire because you would have this life wall that
Yeah.
you couldn't get through. So here came deadlock.
That's why you play air wall
And
and
that's-
wall up with them.
And that's really all that life has. It's either you're a throw deck,
Yep.
or you're a tech deck.
Or you have no. Actually, I wouldn't even say that. I'd say you're just a Spike 2 deck or a Jackie deck. That's pretty much it.
Well, those are the only.
I know,
those
but-
are the only 2 characters. With
I know,
tech
and
combos.
that's the thing. That's the sad thing.
Oh,
is that
yeah,
there's
you
only,
have to play those
outside,
2 characters.
Outside of a throw deck, you can only play 2 other characters.
Yeah.
And maybe no attack hiding, I guess, but I don't know if that's
You
played
play her off.
air.
You play her off of fire.
Off fire.
You play her off of fire.
I
You don't
was-
even play her off of air or life. You play her off of fire.
I would argue that life is starting.
Here for Ophid.
You don't need it.
I would argue that off of life, you are now starting to see a lot more speed manipulation.
That's true.
So
yes. That's very true.
Barring Darkstalkers versus Street Fighter, there's all sorts of characters that used to do it, like Plant Man is big on speed as well.
It also goes into Soul Calibur 6 because Sophitia deals with speed plus and minusing speed.
Well, even with
'Cause her
Street
gimmick-
Fighter versus Darkstalkers,
Yeah.
because Morgan
works around
speed.
block mods to give it plus or minus
Yeah.
speed. But it's uncontrollable RNG type speed because
And
that thing could just fail.
Let's say Spike 1 does it too.
Yeah.
All sorts of
Yep.
stuff with speed.
Yep. Spike 2 is the only one that doesn't mess with speed. He just beats your face in.
But a couple of bits of his support does
Yeah.
buff speed.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
you don't
yeah.
really need speed when you just multiple for 9 damage.
Yep, very true. But anywho, yeah, it's a symbol that really needs, I think, more like. It doesn't need a lot of defensive help because its foundations aren't too bad.
Well,
That's
it
got a lot of
it
good
has
tools.
great defensive
It
pieces.
needs to have more generalized attacks
Yeah.
that aren't throws.
It needs to have just a few more options.
I would say that.
A few more
like,
Chris
like in
Splats.
my opinion, Chris Splat's probably its best attack, which is really sad
Yeah, I
because
think I'd
it's
agree.
it's a 4 damage utility attack, and that's all it is. I know I'm probably gonna regret saying all this tomorrow, and I think about, oh man, that attack's so good, but yeah, for the most part, I'd say
And
Chris
Curse Splat and Urban Charm.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Those two, yeah, and then they're 2 4 damage reversals, so and that's sad. So
Let's see here.
We look
Yeah,
at-
I was just different characters
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to jog my memory.
oh.
I would say like a quintessential life card. I'd say is Skull because it does exactly what life wants to do, but it's unplayable outside of 2 characters.
Yeah, outside 2
Maybe
characters.
you might play it in a life Heidi if you're feeling
Well,
free.
the issue is Ermac doesn't even play it for the life symbol. He plays it matches death with him.
Yeah, it has big damage.
Yeah, but anywho,
There's a speed.
so long story short, TLDR is what the kids say nowadays. I think.
Yeah.
We feel bad for the life symbol.
Dethroned real hard.
It got man, just like Air, like our first series, our
As-
first thing.
as-
It just
as-
went.
As air, all in life, as Templar symbols
Yeah.
drop,
Irony.
the rise of the jet,
Jet
symbols.
symbols, yeah.
And that's
I would say all's on the upswing.
Yeah.
All's definitely on the upswing.
Yeah,
It's
with
the-
the new stuff in Soul Calibur, they got a lot of
They got a
cool
lot of
tools.
neat tools. Yeah. So anywho, yeah, cool.
I guess that's
All right, I think that's it. So we're gonna end the episode. Like, comment, subscribe, comment. Please let us know what you think, guys, about this stuff. Yeah, Patreon.
Share it in your local play groups.
Yeah, do all that fun stuff. Yeah, goodbye.